as much as the Blue Jays did lose today 6-5 in 13 innings to the Boston Red Sox, there are a lot of positives you can take from a game like this. As much as we talk about, yes, they lost the game and the Blue Jays are now 20-29 on the season so far. We've always talked about, we talked about it in the spring training games, we talked about it in the season preview, we talked about it all year long so far. Even in losses, you have to find a way to take positives out of losses. Now, in this one, yes, you did lose the game 6-5 in 13 innings to the Boston Red Sox, but there's quite a few positives you can take from a game like this. First things first, Blue Jays go down 2-0 early on in the top of the third inning. Mitch Moreland hits an RBI single to center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. comes in to score. Then a little bit later on, Xander Bogaerts hits an RBI single to right field. Mookie Betts comes in to score. And it's 2-0 Red Sox in the top of the third inning. We move ahead to the bottom of the fourth inning. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading off the inning for the Toronto Blue Jays, trying to get a little rally going here for this team. But he gets a fastball down and away, a fastball that you don't usually hit very well. It's more or less a pitch that you kind of take the other way and try and get a single to the opposite field. But instead, on a 2-1 pitch, Vladdy gets that fastball down and away, and he hits it to dead center field, 423 feet off the facing of the WestJet flight deck, cutting that lead in half. It's now 2-1 Red Sox. But then you go to the top of the seventh inning, and Mitch Moreland gets an RBI ground out, and that gets that run back. It's now 3-1. Now we go to the bottom of the seventh inning, and the Blue Jays, we've noticed with this team, so far this season at least, when games are not totally out of reach, this team does not quit. And you saw it again today. You're down 3-1 against the Red Sox in the seventh inning. You're going to see their meat of their bullpen, or what? Ideally they don't have Craig Kimbrell anymore, so their bullpen is kind of a little bit iffy at the back end, but you're seeing their best guys in the 7, 8, and 9 spots in those innings. So in the bottom of the seventh inning, the Blue Jays face Brandon Workman, and that guy has been a great pitcher for the Red Sox. He's been a great pitcher against the Toronto Blue Jays, and he strikes out Rowdy Tellez to start off the inning. Then gets Randall Grichuk to line out. So there's 2 out, nobody on. You think nothing's going to come of that. The Blue Jays aren't going to get anything, and they're going to lose this game 3-1 or worse. But Freddie Galvis singles to center field with a 2-out single to center. It really doesn't lead to anything, as we all think, right? Brandon Drury then doubles to left field. Freddie Galvis ends up at third base. We got runners at second and third now. The tying run is all of a sudden in scoring position. And Billy McKinney pinch hits for Jonathan Davis, and he walks. Now the bases are loaded now with 2 out for Luke Maile. And he grinds it at bat, and he walks to score a run. It's a 3-2 ball game. It's a 1-run game. Still the bases loaded, but Eric Sogard grounds out to end the inning. The Blue Jays are still stuck 3-2. However, they weren't done yet. Let's go to the bottom of the ninth inning. They bring in Jordan Walden to finish off the ball game. Freddie Galvis strikes out to lead off the inning. Then Brandon Drury doubles to center field. He had a couple hits in the ball game. Great job for Brandon Drury. He's been doing pretty well as of late. Then Billy McKinney grounds out, but Brandon Drury moves up to third base. Look, guys, what we had learned from this Blue Jays team early on in the season is they were great with hitting with runners in scoring position. Lately, they haven't been good at that at all. So in this situation, you have Brandon Drury at third base, Danny Jansen at the dish, your number 9 hitter, and you've got 2 out in the bottom of the ninth inning. You need a clutch hit from Danny Jansen. And you get just that as he rips an RBI single to right field. It drops in front of Mookie Betts. Drury comes in to score, and the Jays tie it at 3 with a 2-out clutch RBI single in the bottom of the ninth inning. Good stuff by Danny Jansen. As we've noticed lately, he is really starting to find his bat, and I'm really proud of this guy because We all know he's a great catcher. He's great at framing. He's got one heck of an arm behind the plate. We want to see him find that bat a little bit. And over the last little while, he's been starting to find himself. Now, we're not done yet. It's still a 3-3 ball game going into extra innings. All right? And then the top of the 12th inning, Mookie Betts is a solo shot, and we're like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. That's the ball game in a lot of Blue Jays fans' eyes. Bottom of the 12th inning, 2 out, 2-1 count to Rowdy Tellez. And he gets was it a fastball? It was a fastball downstairs, and he gets barrel the ball, crushes it to center field, and it's gone. We're tied again. And the Blue Jays look, this team had tied it up in the bottom of the 9th with a 2-out clutch single, and with 2 out in the bottom of the 10th, you tie it again to send it to the 13th inning. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was off a little bit with the scores. However, you're tied in the bottom of the 12th inning with the Rowdy Tellez home run. You go to the top of the 13th inning, and you bring in Jimmy Cordero, the guy the Blue Jays just brought up from AAA Buffalo, to fill in for Ryan Tepera, who went on the injured list, and Michael Chavis. He got a slider down. Well, he's a right-handed hitter, so it was down and away. But he pulls it to right center field and crushes it. 433 feet to give them the lead 6-5. And the Blue Jays just can't quite crawl back from that deficit. They did it twice in the game, but 3 strikes and you're out. And the Blue Jays lose 6-5. Now, as I said earlier on in the video, guys, you have to take positives out of a Blue Jays loss. Now, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., guys, went 2 for 6 in the ball game with the home run and the RBI and a run scored. His now average is continuously creeping up. It's now 253 on base of 330. He's really starting to find himself, is Vladdy. Justin Smoke was 2 for 5 in the game. It's great to see Smokey get some hits. You know, his on-base percentage is freakishly good. What is it, actually, after this game today? 376. That's pretty damn good. But his batting average is only 220. He walked a ton, but he doesn't get a lot of base hits or doesn't get on base a lot, and it's weird for Justin Smoke. But it kind of reminds me of Jose Bautista in a sense, right? In his last few years as a Blue Jay, his average was low, but he got on base a ton. And that was really that's really the feeling towards Justin Smoke right now. Rowdy Tellez for back-to-back. I mean, you saw yesterday, guys. He had the 2 home run game. Today he goes 2 for 5 with the home run. He walks once. He scores a run, gets an RBI. He's now hitting 254 on the season. Is Big Rowdy. Good to see there. Randall Gritchick goes 1 for 6. Freddie Galvis 1 for 6. Brandon Drury goes 2 for 6 in the ball game. And Jansen, guys, goes 1 for 2 because he pinch hits for Luke Maile. And he also was a strikes out in the ball game as well. But he's now hitting 189. Again, remember, very, very not too long ago, he was hitting the 150, 160. So slow progressions for Danny Jansen. This team is a young team, guys. They're going to go through a lot of growing pains this year. But you got to take the positives out of losses, and that's what we're here to do right now. All right. Now, pitching-wise, Aaron Sanchez didn't do that bad. He threw 6 innings. Where is he here? 6 innings of 4-hit ball, give up 2 runs in 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Dropped his ERA 9 points. I mean, he had a pretty good ball game today. Considering that we all thought that he was going to leave early in the game because of this whole blister issue, we heard, well, he's able to start the next start. Yeah, but how long is he going to be able to go there, Charlie? Well, he went 6 innings. How many pitches did he pitch in the ball game today? Let me see if I can find 91 pitches. So again, clearly that thing was not a factor. The blister issue was not a factor in the game today. He only walked a couple batters. He only gave up a couple runs and threw 6 innings. He was good, but the bullpen really had their issues today, and I think that was a big reason of why the Jays lost. Daniel Hunza gave up a run in his inning of work. Derek Law in 2 innings gave up a run, and Ken Giles is the only guy who had a clean inning. He gave up a hit and struck out a batter in his clean inning. But Joe Biagini gave up 1 run in an inning and 2/3, and Jimmy Cordero in an inning and a third, gave up 2 hits and 1 run. Obviously, the big home run to Michael Chavis to win the ball game for the Red Sox. So the bullpen wasn't very good for the Toronto Blue Jays today, but the bats weren't bad. Now let's head to the minor leagues, guys, because you know what? We didn't do that yesterday, and I'm here to do that for you guys today because we got to talk about positives. And we talked about the Blue Jays actual roster positives from today's ball game, that's great. But Blue Jay fans want to know about the youngsters. They want to know about how the youngins are doing there in the minor leagues. And in Double-A, guys, I have to say, my boy, Yennsy Diaz. If you guys have watched these videos consistently, you know my love towards my boy Yennsy Diaz down there in Double-A, New Hampshire. The 20-year-old, 21-year-old went 7 innings today. I think it was actually yesterday. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, didn't give up any runs, struck out 8. And his ERA, again, as a 20 and 21-year-old in Double-A, is 3.14. Keep an eye on this kid. He's been doing spectacular, and a lot of, I guess, a sigh of relief for Blue Jay fans in today's ball game for the New Hampshire Fisher Cats, as Hector Perez picks up his 3rd win on the season, giving up in 6 innings, giving up 5 hits, 1 run, walks 3, but strikes out 5. The reason I say it's a sigh of relief for Jays fans is because that guy right there, Hector Perez, was probably the main piece in the Roberto Osuna trade last year. So, I mean, you can say Ken Giles was, I guess, because he's been spectacular for the big club. But as for youngins and prospects, Hector Perez was the youngin for the Blue Jays, and he did a great job there today. So if you look at the last 2 starts for pitchers for the Toronto Blue Jays down there in Double-A, New Hampshire, they've done very well. You know, Yennsy Diaz going 7 shutout innings in his 7 innings on Tuesday night, and Hector Perez going 6 strong innings today, giving up 1 run on, I think it was 5 hits. Now, I think we're here for, why did I bring up the Dunedin Blue Jays? I wanted to bring up the Buffalo Bisons here. The reason being, the Blue Jays released Ben Revere, my boy. I mean, I thought this guy was going to be in the big club really soon, but instead you don't have room for him. And I'm like, oh, what? Who do you have room for then? Teoscar Hernandez? You want to put butts in seats, don't you, Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro? You bring a guy back that was on the 2015 team, as in Ben Revere, who everybody loved, and you bring him to the big club. It might not sell out the place, but it'll put more butts in the seats. Maybe a few. Even that. But, guys, like I said, I want to briefly mention that towards the whole Ben Revere situation. And for the Buffalo Bisons, the only positive out of the game, I think it was from today's game, no, it's yesterday's ball game for the Buffalo Bisons, is Anthony Alford going 2 for 4. He's now hitting 200 on the year. Look, the reason I'm talking about Anthony Alford is because he's the top 5 prospect in the Jays organization. And for Anthony Alford, guys, it's kind of like you're on the clock, kid. I mean, he's been in AAA now for 2-3 years, and he really hasn't shown any sort of consistency. He's got speed, that's great, but if you can't hit, you're not going to be in the big leagues. And for Anthony Alford, lately he's been swinging the bat a lot better. That's great to see, but we want to see it consistently over the next month or 2. You know, if he's hitting 250 or 260 by the trade deadline, would not surprise me if the Jays move some outfielders. Or maybe not. They're kind of young in the outfield right now. But again, moving some players and bringing up a guy, you know, like Anthony Alford. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is with him. I don't know if they're kind of like, well, he's just here right now, we're going to try and move him. I don't know what their plan is with Anthony Alford. All I know is that he's one of the top 5 prospects in the Jays organization. And as of late, he's been swinging the bat very well, all right? So let's get out of the minor leagues now. Again, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about when it comes to the minor leagues. Not a whole lot going down there in Lansing and Dunedin. But in New Hampshire, we talked about the 2 starters that did really well over the last 2 days. And we talked about Anthony Alford, who had a pretty good game yesterday for the Toronto Blue Jays. And for the actual Toronto Blue Jays big league club, they play the finale of this 4-game set against the Boston Red Sox tomorrow afternoon, 12:37, first pitch at Rogers Center. And Clayton Richard looks like he's going to get his first start as a Toronto Blue Jay. Good to see. Against Ryan Weber of the Boston Red Sox, he actually threw what looks like 1 game. Was it 1 game? Hold on, let me find him here. No, he's thrown a few games for the Boston Red Sox, but in his 8 innings that he has pitched, he has an ERA of 1.13, and in 8 innings, he has 7 strikeouts and only 1 walk. It's pretty good, but for the Blue Jays, if the Jays can find a way to win that game tomorrow? You split the 4-game set against the Red Sox. I'll take that any day of the week. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoy this video, and you guys enjoy the ball game today. Because you know what? As much as the Jays did lose today, it was very entertaining to see the Jays come back twice and tie the game twice in this game. One in the 9th inning and one in the 12th inning. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this game, your thoughts on this video, what are your thoughts on Jimmy Cordero in his first little bit as a Toronto Blue Jay. Yes, he did give it the home run to Michael Chavis to win the game, but other than that, what were your thoughts on him? What do you think of his stuff? What do you think of all that? What do you think of Aaron Sanchez? Because Sanchezy, I mean, look, or the Sanchez, or the whatever the heck the nickname is you want to call Aaron Sanchez. We've heard a lot about Marcus Stroman. We've heard a lot about Aaron Sanchez. What are your thoughts on Sanchez, guys? I mean, look, if this blister issue is not a big deal, as we're hearing it's not, then okay. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Aaron Sanchez and this team's play overall. And the whole Vladdy slowly starting to creep the batting average up. He's over 250 now. He's starting to find himself as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It's great to see him get his first home run at home. So he's gotten 4 on the road, and he's finally got his first one at Rogers Center. So everything when you're talking about, well, he needs to get this thing before he breaks out, all that's done now. Now it's about Vladdy continuing to get better on a daily basis, and it is a blessing to watch this kid on a daily basis. That is why I bought his jersey. I'm so sick and tired of having a Brett Laurie jersey on the entire time. And if you guys see the other jersey I have up there, I think it was like once or twice, flipping Scott Rowland, for God's sakes. He was here for, what, a year? And I was stupid, and I got the jersey, and he was traded a week later. And for Brett Laurie, I'm like, oh, an upcoming young Canadian. Good stuff. No. So for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the best prospect in baseball, and we're seeing the great stuff from him. He's going to be around a long time, Jays fans. So this jersey might not go out of style pretty quick. Good stuff. All right, so guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this video, your thoughts on the game, all that great stuff about this game, guys. And Evan and I will talk to you as podcast edition on Saturday afternoon. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Twitter is also down below. Follow up, send me a DM. Do like great stuff, guys. And check out my main man, Mo Buckets, on Twitter. Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. He uploads the great content. He uploads quick. And I think you guys love my content because I upload it right after the game. For the most part, and I apologize for not uploading this right after the ball game today, but you guys like my content because I posted right after the game, and that's why I love doing for you guys. Mo Buckets on Twitter, Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. He does the exact same thing. He posts directly after the game. He's already got the post-game, paragraph he posts in his description of his Instagram page. He's got the picture and the stats already up. It's quick. It's great. He's a fantastic guy to talk to, guys. And Evan and I really hope to have him on the podcast very, very soon. Once the Raptors are finished up and it's just Blue Jays we're focusing on, I think we're going to get him on the podcast and have a great talk with him about the Toronto Blue Jays and what he thinks about this team moving forward. All right, so guys, I will talk to you guys. Raptors edition tomorrow night. The reason I paused there is because I want to give you guys a little suspense. He's like, did he forget? How the heck could I forget Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals? The Raptors are in Milwaukee taking on the Bucks, and this is arguably the biggest game in franchise history. You win this game tomorrow, you have won the most playoff games in franchise history. That's one thing. Number 2, then you come home on Saturday looking to advance to the NBA Finals. Raptor fans, if you guys are listening to this, first off, tip of the cap to you because you're actually watching a Jays video. And you're already really deep. It's a 20-minute video. The reason being because there's a lot of things I wanted to discuss. A lot of positives to take from this video. Guys, the Raptors are 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. It's crazy. All right, and for the Toronto Blue Jays, guys, we talked about it already today, a little bit earlier on. The Blue Jays wrap up the 4-game set against the Boston Red Sox tomorrow afternoon, 12:37 first pitch at Rogers Center. Ryan Weber, Clayton Richard are the starting pitchers there tomorrow afternoon. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you guys then.